So guys, I got some big news regarding something that happened on television last night in regards to Family Guy. So, a little background as far as like where I come from when it comes to Family Guy. I've watched the show on and off. I mean, I watched the show religiously when I got into college about 3 years ago. But since they cut the subscription from Hulu, so you had to start paying a price, I was like, screw that, I'm not going to do that. I wasn't able to watch it as frequently as I did. And yeah, I wasn't a big fan of most of the racist humor that came into play. I mean, a lot of the best, I am like with a lot of people where I thought the best humor came from Seth MacFarlane's run, which I think he kind of stopped, I'd say, 6th season, and then onwards it was just a bunch of other writers. But, you know, I think his influence was still there. But otherwise, I think the show has been somewhat consistent, but not as consistent. And this episode was big because they kill off a main character. Now, I don't know how that's going to impress people because it's like, what, Family Guy's got to kill off a main character? It's kind of like The Simpsons killing off a main character. It just, you know, these are characters that are timeless. They just last forever. But as it was, since the spoiler's been out already, Brian Griffin dies, the dog. And everybody is on their fucking pissed off. It's like, holy shit, Brian Griffin died? Oh, I'm never gonna watch Family Guy again. Motherfucker, you probably weren't watching Family Guy to begin with if you're just gonna say, you know, this is gonna cancel your impression of the show forever. So I finally got to sit down and I finally got to watch the episode. So it starts off with Brian and Stewie doing what they normally do, which is travel through time. And they find out they're in a parallel time where the Native Americans have superiority over the white man because Stewie gave him guns, which I was kind of half and half on. One, it was like one of those dumb racist jokes that Seth MacFarlane likes to pull in there, and on another half, it was, you know, it had me laughing a couple of times. I think what was like one. I mean, one joke I facepalm is like, we now return to the top 100 song for the 10,000 week. Hey, I was like, oh, fuck it. I saw this joke like coming a mile away. But there were like other jokes I thought were okay. But otherwise, when they get back to their regular universe and they change the time, Stewie kills the time machine. He, you know, he has it crushed, taken apart, so that they don't have to go through and relive past events. And once they go into a junkyard, they find some stuff, and Brian's like, wow, look at this. It's a very nice looking net. Let's bring it back home. And, I'm sorry. And when they do, and they go back home and they're playing, Brian gets run over by a car, and I'm surprised because it's so fucking brutal. Like, he's getting ran over by this thing, and there's blood and guts, and he's just laying there. He's got blue eyes. And they bring him to a hospital, and the doctor tells him, well, he doesn't have that long to live. And this is like at the halfway point in the episode, so this doesn't happen like at the very end, Brian's death happening at the very end or at the very beginning. This is something that's happening right in the middle, so it kind of gives us time to let it sink in. And they do spend the other half of the episode treating Brian's death with dignity, I think. I mean, for the show standards. I mean, it wasn't like this show was Hamlet or anything, but they handled it, I think, relatively well. One of the things I really liked about how they handled his death is in remembrance to the continuity to the previous episodes. What I remember clearly is that Quagmire hates Brian. Like, he passionately hates Brian. There was this one episode where he tears Brian apart, telling him all these despicable things he's done in his past. And Brian's like, oh my god, I am a despicable person. And you could tell, I think that had an impact on his death up to now. And you see Quagmire at the funeral, and he's like texting away, not giving a shit, but he's there anyways. That implies that, it still implies that he hates the motherfucker. But, where it gets interesting afterwards is how they handle it, because a lot of people are like, well, maybe this is the sign of something new. People were worried that Family Guy has been running its course, that Family Guy has been hitting a dead end, and that they got to do something to really bring it back. And in this case, they kill off the time machine. I mean, the chances are Stewie would probably build another time machine, but we don't know about that yet. Probably indicate, like, you know, something to happen later on. But they got a new character, a new dog character named Vinny, and, you know, at first I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be another one of those dumb stereotypes, and he's gonna be like, you know, obviously he's gonna be a bad guy. He's gonna have an edge to him. But I don't know, Vinny, I think he's voiced by Chaz Palminteri. You could probably comment and tell me and, you know, correct me. But I actually found it interesting where they took this character, because, like, he doesn't seem like an asshole character. He's, you know, seems like a legitimate nice person. And I kind of like how they have this character coping with the death of Brian. And I thought he was given some funny lines, you know, if they did range from, like, dumb Italian American stereotype humor. But, I'm 1/16th pussy hound. Oh, that's awesome. No, that just means I'm 1/16th cat. Oh, that sucks. I mean, the episode had some legitimately funny moments in it, too. Like, they got the non-sequitur jokes. The show's been famous for their non-sequitur jokes. I mean, even though the main story is not that good, at least the non-sequitur jokes make you laugh. And that's what happened here. You had some of those funny non-sequitur jokes. But otherwise, where do I stand with this whole outrage of never watching Family Guy again? I don't know, I'm probably going to keep watching it as I was before, on and off. Maybe I'll probably watch it more. I'm kind of interested where the show would be going in this direction. If you've ever watched the show before, you know that Brian's death was kind of inevitable, and sometimes you would treat it as like, oh, this is just, you know, all dogs have shorter lifespans, so obviously he's not going to be living forever. No, legitimately, there were episodes that didn't even focus on the humor, where Brian would just be very mopey, and then he would always contemplate suicide. And there was even an episode where they go into the future and they find out that Brian did get run over by a car, so that kind of tells you something, that Brian's death was going to happen anyways. And in some ways, if there was a character that was going to die who needed, you know, something, I think Brian would have been that character. So I'm not torn up about this. If you are, I don't know, I don't think you've been watching the show for that long and you probably didn't care. And, you know, that's your thing. If you don't like Family Guy, whatever. I think, you know, I think the show is consistent. I mean, it's not, you know, always, you know, ha-ha all the time. But at least it has a known formula to what it does, and I'm not that pissed off about it. But if you really don't concern what Seth MacFarlane's got, like, what, 20 other animated shows you can choose from, I don't care. But otherwise, Life of Brian, I didn't think it was that bad. I'm probably going to keep watching the episodes on and off as I was before, and I actually think it was handled really well. And sadly, I kind of like the Vinny character. Yeah. I don't know. I really liked his character, and I think he's probably he's going to be a good addition to the cast and be like making amends, a mea culpa for all the bad Italian-American jokes they've had on that show. Having a positive Italian-American character, even though he is kind of a stereotype, at least a positive one that can make me root for him a little bit. And I know, I kind of liked it. I would like to see where the show's going. I just wanted to get my voice out and let you guys know. Take care.